Welcome to Let's Be Well Together podcast. You're in the right place, the perfect place, if you're looking for a wellness check-in team whose goal is to remind you to think about wellness and encourage you to make wellness a priority. It all stems from my book, Accidentally Well.
Welcome to episode 37.
A territorial acknowledgement improves allyship with Indigenous people as part of a reconciliation process. We make our podcast from lands located within the traditional territory of the Neutral, Anishinaabe, and Haudenosaunee peoples. We acknowledge the presence and traditional knowledge, laws, and philosophies of the Indigenous people with whom we share this land. We are treaty people, responsible to honor the original caretakers and to serve as stewards for the land.
And welcome back to Let's Be Well Together. This is John and Sammy.
Yeah, it's what's on your mind, and I got something on my mind.
Sure.
I was listening to a podcast from a while back.
Yeah.
And I've been meaning to ask you about this. I just keep forgetting.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been watching a whole bunch of nature shows.
Yeah.
And I love watching shows like Serengeti and other ones where you follow different kinds of animals in the wild in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really fascinated with elephants.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was another show I watched, not Serengeti, and there was a person who worked out of a camp who helped elephants a lot.
Right.
And he did all kinds of things to help the elephants.
Mm.
And it was interesting that they remembered him. So
Yeah.
when they saw him, they remembered him.
Yeah.
And he died. And every anniversary, a whole bunch of elephants make their way to that compound and they just stand there.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
So anyway, I heard you talking to Sheila about elephant experiences.
Yeah.
And I just want to talk to you about it. Like what?
Yeah.
This is part of the Sammy travel series.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if you can tell me a little bit about some of your connections with elephants.
Yeah. So I've always loved elephants ever since I was a little girl. Like just their faces and their smiles. Like you just know that like they are wise creatures. They know so much about the earth and just so intelligent. They're honestly so intelligent. And I see a lot of videos like that all the time. People always send me little videos of elephants like reuniting with someone or, you know, following a baby lion around that's gotten separated from its pride. So they take care of it. You know what I mean? Like just like little things that elephants do is just amazing. And yeah, I was lucky enough to work with some elephants in Cambodia at the elephant sanctuary. And it was just amazing to see one up close, and especially elephants that have been through, through traumatizing things. Like the ones that I was working with, the one was saved from poaching. And then the other was saved from a lot of elephants get taken actually more for like an entertainment industry, whether that's circus or for elephant rides and stuff like that. And they can get very hurt and abused and all of that stuff. So it's, you know, it's amazing to see them like rehabilitated and just like at peace. So the one we were working with was blind, but she still knew who she was with and she still had a smile on her face. And it was just so amazing to see them just, be there and be who they are.
If they make their way into a sanctuary, can they go back into the wild or do they become part of the sanctuary permanently?
So their goal, the one that I was at, was to get them back into the wild. The only thing in Cambodia, we were taught that, you know, the wild's not the safest space for elephants. They're still in the rainforest. It's just, there's a conservation area. So they don't really like go beyond that, but they're still in a massive, massive area. It's just like a protected area of the rainforest that this company and organization is working on protecting. And poachers still come onto the land, try to get the elephants. But there's a lot of like security watching them and everything like that. But a lot of the times in these rehabilitation and conservation centers, if they're in it for the right reasons and they're not there for tourism, their hearts are to let them back into the wild one day.
That's great. It'd be amazing to be in the wild. But honestly, if what you're saying is true, I'd rather see them in a nice section of the rainforest that's protected.
Yeah.
Even if it's not strictly in the wild.
Definitely.
There is an interesting side to elephants too that you might gravitate towards because we often talk about men and women. And what seems to me is, so a lot of times the male elephants they get in their moods and they
Yes.
full of rage.
A lot more aggressive.
I've actually seen them not be nice to baby lions. In fact,
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
the opposite.
Yeah.
But it really is a situation where there's often a matriarch who's the leader.
Mm-hmm.
And it's often the female who are the ones that seem so peaceful and
Yes.
calm and, helpful and getting the babies out of the side of the river when they're...
Yeah.
So, I don't know, like, did you have any connection with the female versus the male?
Definitely. So I only worked with female elephants, and there is a reason for that. When elephants are taken, whether if that's for like deforestation or for an entertainment purpose, it's typically female elephants for that exact reason, because they are more peaceful and more willing to obey and just do what they're told with the poking sticks and everything, versus a male elephant will get aggressive and stand up for themselves. So they're less likely to be taken for that purpose, but they're more likely to be poached for their tusks, right?
And so do they kill the elephant to take the tusks? Do they put them to sleep, take the tusks?
Yeah, I'm pretty positive a majority of the time they kill them to take the tusks, just because it's hard to get it to not move or whatever when they're taking it.
Even if you knock it out with some drug or something.
Yeah, and to get close enough to an elephant to, I guess, knock it out with some drug, I guess you could do that. But I could be wrong on this.
No, I'm guessing that poachers don't really care.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure a lot of the times the elephant is killed or wounded severely enough that a lot of the times these conservation teams will find them wounded and try to rehabilitate them and let them back into the wild.
So what's in a couple examples of things that you did with elephants?
Yeah, so we really just got to hang out with them. We got to feed them. They loved sugar cane. So we would like husk the sugar cane and give it to them as like little snacks, little treats. It wasn't...
Would they pick it up off the ground, and...
We went and like harvested it and then would take it back and then husk it and then give it to them. It's really just a treat though. It's not their...
Right.
Yeah, so that would just kind of be to go and hang out with them. We gave them some baths. And then we were also planting trees in the sanctuary to kind of help rehabilitate the forest as well.
Yeah, it's weird too. I was surprised because elephants eat like wood.
Yeah.
Yes, they eat leaves and stuff like that, but sometimes they just eat the wood, and they eat so much food, but not very much actually stays with them. I'm not thinking of the right word for it, but there's kind of a low efficiency rate, so they have to eat lots and lots.
They have to eat lots, yeah. And the sugar cane's like just so sugary. It's really not.
Right.
It's not like it's like when we have sugar, right? It feels good and it's like a nice little treat for them, but definitely not what they want to feed them on the daily. Did
you ever have contact with either a pregnant mom or a baby?
No babies, unfortunately. It was actually only 2 elephants on the in the sanctuary when we were there, and they were both rescued. The one was from like a deforestation company, and the other one was from an entertainment industry. So yeah, they only had 2. Yeah,
that broke my heart when you were telling Sheila that some of these elephants are used to tear down
the rainforest.
The rainforest, the very home they live in.
Exactly, yeah.
It's horrifying.
It is. And they always remember too. Like that's something that's so interesting and loving about an elephant, is that they always remember, like what you were saying, they remembered this guy, but they can also remember the people that are hurting them, right? So they see their faces, they know they're coming, they know they're about to get hurt, but they don't understand why. They're not processing what's going on. They know that this person is the person that's going to hurt them, and that's just so heartbreaking.
What about you? Did they remember you? Did you ever touch them?
I touched them. I gave them lots of kisses and gave them hugs and everything like that. I have a lot of photos with the elephants. I loved them. I don't think if I showed back up, I don't think they would fully remember me. There was like 15 of us, and I'm sure they have lots of volunteer groups come through. But I like to think that like in that week I was there, we had a little connection. They might remember me. Maybe, you never know.
Could you feel like sometimes they talk about with horses that if a horse really reads people well, and if you're calm, they kind of connect. Did you ever have that kind of connection where you felt like...
Yeah, I have a photo of me and the one elephant. I hate that I can't fully remember the name, but I'm pretty sure it was Karun Rai. And I just like had my hand on her cheek, and I have a photo of like us like touching heads, and she had like a big smile with some fruit in her mouth, and she was just like smiling. And I love that photo so much. And I feel like there was a true connection there.
Well, that sounds like a perfect place to end. I want to think about that picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Guests are giving their time, expanding our minds.
We are in the category of physical wellness today, and I'm welcoming back Hillary Fitzgerald. You'll recall that she's a self-described lover of life, promoter of positivity, and motivator of movement. Hillary started her fitness journey in high school and gained knowledge as she went. She eventually enrolled in CanFit Pro and became a personal trainer and fitness coach. Hillary initially worked at a gym and then went on to start her own business to train out of her home gym. She's been working from home and loving her own business for 6 years now. Welcome back, Hillary.
Thanks for having me.
So today, last time we talked just generally about different kinds of exercise. And today I'm wondering from your experience, a couple things. So first of all, if let's say people aren't doing very much physical exercise right now, what are some of the different ways that they can get into that? So obviously you can go to a gym.
Right.
But what are some other ways maybe they can get into it?
Yeah, so I think anything you enjoy would be a great way to start. Whether it's playing sports, just getting out for a walk, riding your bike, all the things we all know. But I think it's really looking to yourself and thinking, what do I really enjoy doing? Because you're going to do it more if you enjoy doing it. So I would say start there. I also think getting into it.
Well, let me stop on that, because we did actually talk about this on another segment, and it's really close to my heart, because my experience before I turned things around was that I wouldn't do anything for a long time, and then I would do something intense like a boot camp, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I couldn't keep it up because it was just too intense. And, after going from nothing to that. So I love that theme. My thinking is, instead of thinking about going to work out initially, just think about trying to explore, do a few things, and find something you love to do. And then once you love to do it, whether it's walking or running or biking or whatever it is, playing tennis, whatever it is, pickleball.
Yep.
Once you start enjoying it, that's what's going to kind of motivate you to actually start working out more.
Exactly, because you don't want to dread it, and you might have days, I see sometimes clients come in and they say, I don't want to be here today. Like, I love you, but I don't want to be here, but I know it's good for me. And then they get going, but they really do enjoy it. Maybe they're just having a day.
Yeah, and maybe they're there because they enjoy doing something else and they know that this is the work they got to do. And you're right. Like, you're going to have days. There's days I don't want to run.
Yeah. And you really have to just sometimes push yourself and just get to that place, and you never regret it. And that's a very cliche thing to say, but you really never do.
No. And a lot of times, as another cliche for me, a lot of times it's those times that I remember.
Yeah, you have the best workout or the best run. And I think that's because you get over that hump and you've really pushed yourself and overcome something.
It teaches me that I can do more than I think I can do.
Oh, yeah.
That on a day that I'm not feeling it, I can still get out there. But I interrupted you.
No, that's okay. I love, because that reminds me of what I just said to my client this morning, actually. I said, we can do hard things. Yeah, this is very hard, but you've done it every other time. Not the same workout, but you've done hard things, and you can do it this time. And then, what do you know? She did it, and she feels on top of the world. So it's almost better when it's, it's going to be difficult. But again, going back to maybe starting with something you enjoy.
So the question is, what are different avenues into being physical?
Yeah, exactly. So I think getting into group setting would be amazing if you're just kind of jumping into the workout scene, or, just trying to be physical. Or you have a friend, maybe you start a walking, little walking group, the two of you, and you go for a walk a couple times a week. I was just talking to my friend about this. She says, I think I need to do something. And I said, well, why don't we just start walking together, a couple times a week? Great. And maybe there's a few of you that want to do it together. Maybe you join a group, and get kind of moving together. So okay. I feel like that would help.
So going to a gym, obviously you're not going to say it because you're a trainer and you don't want to think you're commercial, which you're not. That's right. Finding a trainer is a good way to do it.
That helps too. Yeah. Just having somebody telling you what to do, because sometimes you want to take the guesswork out of it. Sometimes people don't want to think about what they have to do. Even sometimes for me, I think maybe I'll go for a run because I don't have to plan anything. I don't have to think about, counting, or as, simple as that sounds. Sometimes it's nice to just go for a run. Or if somebody tells me what to do, they say, do 10 more of that. Like I work out with a group of people. So if they say, keep going, or do 10 more, let's try this move. I am into it.
It motivates you.
I love when people tell me what to do.
Nice.
Because I'm competitive. It challenges me. And yeah, so I think having somebody tell you, or a group of people you're with who push you to keep going.
Okay, so find a way in. Mm-hmm. And then another thing I wanted to talk to you about today, we have these short windows, so I want to make sure I cover it is. Mm-hmm. One time you were telling me that you like to work out in the morning, and you were talking about the different advantages of that, what you get out of it. So I've never really done that. So what are some of the things that you love about working out in the morning?
So I love working out in the morning.
Okay.
So I love it. I've done it for years and years. So I work out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, early mornings. And I work out sometimes on a Saturday or Sunday. So the weekly workout.
Early morning, you mean?
Early. Actually, on the weekends, I don't do early. I would do maybe a 9 o'clock. Like I have a group that comes and works out on Sundays at 9. And sometimes I join them, and I love it. That's a good time as well. But during the week, it's early morning.
And what does early mean?
So currently, in the past couple of years since COVID, it changed to 6:15. That's our time. It used to be 5:15. So this is pre-COVID. I don't know. It just, something changed. That's when people could...
For one thing, a lot of people didn't have to commute.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. People were home, because I'm trying to think back as to why that was. And we started doing Zoom workouts. That's what it was. And I said, okay, let's do 6:15, because we're all home. We don't have to wake up at 4:45 like we used to. And that's what started. And then the group changed a little bit, and now it's a mix of a few clients of mine and a few friends and my husband. And we do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6:15.
And what do you get out of that? Like why that instead of 5:15 at night?
Right. So, this is when I'm ready to, I wake up and I'm ready to go. I love the feeling of accomplishing something before the day starts. So for me, I get up, I have a coffee, we sit there, for a few minutes, and then we're ready to go.
So you kind of start your day off with a success.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's huge to me, and the rest of the day just falls into place. And even the other days, even though I don't work out on Tuesday, Thursdays at that time, because I have my other days and I have my schedule, those days flow the same. I still feel accomplished, even though I didn't, get up to work out. I have my days. Those are the days that I push it really hard. And yeah, I feel accomplished. And I can say the same for the rest of the group. I know, even though it's hard getting there sometimes, everybody feels amazing after, and they still keep coming, What about, like little things, like I would say, well, I know, but when I first wake up, I'm kind of stiff and I'm not really, my joints are kind of locked up or something. Yep. I guess that's a kind of a crappy excuse. No, well, that's funny, because actually my husband, he always says to me, you wake up ready to go. And I do. I'm 100% from the first move, and that's just the way I roll. He takes a bit longer because, again, he's a little stiff. It takes him a bit longer to wake up. So this how he starts his workout a little differently than mine. Say we're doing a weighted exercise first off. I'm right into it because that just works well for my body. He might do the first exercise or the first few without weight.
Oh, interesting.
And just completely warm up his body.
So he's kind of lubricating his joints. He's getting things moving.
Yep. And then he just progresses and he works just as hard, but he has a different approach to start than I do. And everybody, we're all a little different. Sometimes somebody might come in and they're not really talking too much right away because they're sleepy. Right. And I'm like, doesn't this feel great? We all feel, and they're like, oh.
Keep it to yourself, Hillary.
But then at the end, I'm like, we feel good, don't we? And everybody's like, yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, or I'll see you Wednesday.
And there definitely is that kind of glow feeling, that energizing, glowing feeling when you're done. And I suppose, so for me, it's different. It's just, I probably could try it. I don't do it so much during the week, but I have to say the other side of it is on the weekend. So a lot of times on the weekend, I have to do a long run.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, it feels better if I can get that out of the way early. So I'm not thinking, oh no, I got to do this later. It's just a really satisfying feeling if I can get up, maybe have breakfast, get a couple chores done, and then I'm out the door and get it done and accomplished. And then I can go about my day with this good feeling of accomplishment.
Exactly. And it doesn't weigh on you. I feel like for me, it would just sit on my mind. Like, okay, I'm doing this later and I want to be successful at it. For me, it's just great getting it done. I mean, whatever works, I say just move your body. Like whatever time you can do it is great. And some people have more energy at night and that's just the way they are. And some people look at it like they've had fuel all day from their food so they can push it harder at night. So that's great too. For me, it works better for me.
For you, you wouldn't give up your early morning workouts?
No, never. Like I can't. I've been doing it for so long and I just, so many benefits. You know, I feel like I've done a really hard thing and everything else is just smooth sailing after that.
Well, I think I should try it because another big message I'm trying to get out there is try things, people.
Yeah.
You know, try it. Maybe you're not a morning person. Maybe this is going to turn it around for you. But whatever, try working out at night, try working out in the morning, try different sessions, try different events.
Yeah.
But what you really want to do is find something you enjoy, because to me, that's what made the difference. Because I enjoy what I'm doing, I look forward to it, as opposed to, like you said, another time, that duty, you know, like that,
yeah.
I have to do it.
Yeah. And I think that's a great way to put it, trying it out. I always say, you know, if somebody's looking into training with me, I say, why don't you come and just try it? Because it may or may not suit you, you know, and if it does, that's great. But if it doesn't, there's many other things. There's something that it's going to suit you.
I love that concept.
Yeah. Like it doesn't have to be this one thing, and keep trying. It's just like your kids, like when they try sports, like my girls are, you know, in different sports now, and it might not be the sport they started with, or they might change their mind. You know, you eventually find what you get out of it, you know, so it's the same for adults.
And the other side to that, to me, is I'm really big into not being judgmental, in the sense that, you know, I don't like it when people are like, oh, John, you're into this. Well, let me explain the right way to do this, whether it's eating or sports or exercise or running, whatever it is. It's like, look, you know, no offense, but I'll ask you if I want a tip. And I try not to do that to other people too. But the big point to me about not being judgmental on this kind of thing is it's really hard to figure out what physical activity any person is going to enjoy. And it's really important for everyone to find one that they do enjoy, because that's what's going to keep them going.
That's right.
Because you're going to stop if you don't enjoy it.
Exactly. And think about it, like if you're an adult and say you're just getting into working out, say you're, you know, 40 and you've never, you know, worked out before. Maybe you haven't done anything since you were younger, and you maybe played a sport, or, you know, obviously most people were pretty active as children, right? Just running around the neighborhood. So if you haven't done anything like that since then, it's going to be pretty out of the box for you to figure out what you want to do. So you just dabble in a few things, you know, and find out what suits you.
Well, you know, I was going to just turn to our last question. You'll remember the last question, but let's just take a couple minutes, because I do have you made me think of a question, which is, what do you do when somebody is 40 years old and you're talking to them and you can tell they're thinking, I'd like to join your group, I'd like to work out with you, Hillary, but I'm afraid because all the people who you work out with are so amazing and I'm just nothing. What would you say to a person like that?
I feel like so many people have said that to me when they first come. They're like, oh, I'm not sure I, you know, can do this, or, you know, everybody's thinking the same thing, really.
True.
You know, we're all a little, you know, can I do this? And, you know, once they get going, they see what they can do. I see it all the time. But I have a lot of people who come, even in their 40s. That's a big age range at my gym, 30s, 40s. And it's amazing what they can do, and they didn't think they could. Actually, I have a great example. Yesterday, I have these big tires on my turf outside, and we train outside a lot in these nice days. And there's a smaller tire and a bigger tire. I need a medium size, but I don't have it right now. So anyway, we're flipping this big tire. I'm actually not. I have a bunch of people who are. And I have 2 clients who think I'm just going to go to the smaller tire. But I'm like, and I know they're thinking, I want to try that big tire, because the rest of the people have just flipped it. And I know they're thinking I can flip it too. So I say, let's just try it. Like, let's just try it out. You don't know if you don't give it a go. The 2 of them ended up just crushing the workout, flipping this thing. And it's heavy. It's super heavy. And they're not only flipping it once or twice, they're doing multiple sets up and down the turf. You know, but if they never, you know, tried it out, they wouldn't have known. You know, and they felt, I could just tell, they felt amazing. We talked about it after. Everybody else is cheering them on. Back to the whole team setting. That's what's great about being in a team.
Was it a morning workout?
It was a 9 a.m. Sunday workout.
So they probably went about their day feeling on cloud nine.
Oh yeah, like so strong. I'm still thinking about it.
It gives you goosebumps.
It does. It makes me so happy for them. And yeah, so.
Okay. Well, that is a perfect way to end. And you obviously got the physical under control. But our show, as you know, talks about a whole bunch of different categories of wellness. It's really hard in a busy life to keep them all going. And so you let things slip. And so we do this little mini check-in, this mini wellness check-in, which is to ask you, if you think about different categories of wellness in your life, is there one that maybe you're just not paying attention to right now? And if so, can you think of even one thing you can do to kind of turn that around?
Yeah, so I think I have the movement down. Constantly moving, so that's the physical, right? I think I could spend more time on the intellectual. So
Right.
getting my brain working in a different way. You know, I was thinking I listen to a lot of podcasts. You know, I learn a lot through listening, but I feel like I should open a book and,
True.
a tangible item in my hand and, something like that. I think that would be good for me.
Yeah, to me, it's like you talked on our last show about core and strength and aerobics. For me personally, I think reading is kind of in that area. You just want to read once in a while. It could be anything. And personally, like what I've been lacking for the longest time is I hadn't been reading literature. I read a lot of texts, I read a lot of cases, but I wasn't reading just for the fun of it. And an earlier guest said that, and so I pulled up. Right now, I'm reading Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and it just takes my mind in a different place. So
right.
Maybe you can find a book that you like and enjoy it.
I think that's what I should do. I think I should get in touch with that, that part. And maybe
Perfect.
Now I will that I've said it. Now I will.
Is that how it works for you?
It is.
You're like,
it is.
I have to do it now because I said I was going to do it, so I'm going to do it.
Absolutely. I do that with everything. I wanted to learn how to snowboard in the winter. So I said, well, I got to take the steps, and I got to go all the time and I learn to snowboard. So.
Okay. Well, next time you come back to talk to us, I'll ask you off the tape if you found a book that you liked and if you enjoyed it.
Great.
Okay.
Love it.
Thanks.
I'm Cameron, and welcome to another installment of the Adventures of the Starving Artist. All the school boards up here are back in gear, and that means the kids are back at it, both in terms of school and extracurriculars, which of course means we're back to music lessons in full force. So it's been a cool week of finally getting everyone settled into their schedules. Everyone's adjusting in nicely. We're finding our stride. Things are going well. I was saying to John and Sheila in one of the podcast episode sign-offs that this time of year, for me at least, brings with it an instinct to kind of slow down and take a breather. And that's sort of the opposite of what everything else is doing. School is ramping up, lessons are ramping up to full speed again, and yet I have this I think a very human instinct to just kind of, I think it's something to do with the weather cooling off and the leaves beginning to turn, Up here in Ottawa, fall has started to make itself known. And I'm here for it. I like that a lot. So I got to adjust to that. I've been feeling that this week. The sort of the balancing act between that instinct of slowing down and taking it a bit easy and, work ramping up. It's something I'll keep balancing out and I'll find the stride, I'm sure. But the little thing I wanted to share with you today is that I've been amassing a bit of an art collection. Now that sounds really high society, fancy pants, and not at all related to music, but hear me out. So obviously I teach in the daytime, and I teach all ages, but especially this time of year, it's a lot of kids, because back to school, right? So I don't know if it's an assignment they've had or they've just all been inspired, but the past week or two, I've been getting a number of original art pieces from a bunch of my students, which has been awesome. I have like a whole little gallery going. My fridge is running out of real estate, but that's an awesome problem to have. So if I keep getting more, maybe I'll have to do a little rotation, maybe a seasonal rotation, or maybe even put them up down the hallway and have a gallery. Who knows? What a fun problem to have. That's all for me this week. Thanks for tuning in. This is The Starving Artist. Until next time.
We love our listeners, and it's great that you could join us. We could use your help. How? Listen to our episodes, subscribe to us, and rate us on your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on Instagram at lets.be.well.together. And make sure you tell your friends about us.
Move that body like we're meant to do.
I am back with my friend and colleague, Khiam Nong. Last time we talked about Pilates, which was pretty inspiring. And today I want to talk about something else Khiam mentioned, that she's started using a combination of bone broth and pineapple rind tea, and she's feeling amazing. So I wonder, what the heck's all this about?
Well, I mean, the bone broth, John, thanks for having me again, by the way.
Oh, I'm glad you're here.
The bone broth is something that I've been meaning to try. Lots of my girlfriends ingest bone broth in a powder form that they just mix in with a cup of water. I hear it doesn't taste all that good, but the benefits for your hair and your skin and your nails are so amazing because it's filled with collagen that women need as they get older. I think younger women need it too. We just think about it more as we...
I think I need it because when I look in the mirror, I'm starting to look pretty dried out.
Everybody needs collagen.
Yeah.
You look great to me, John.
Why, thank you.
And so I've been meaning to try it for years, and I discovered one of our local entrepreneurs in town here, and she makes bone broth taste like hot chocolate.
Wow.
Or coffee. And so I thought, this is my chance to try it, and it's going to taste good. And so I've been drinking hot chocolate bone broth for the past probably 6 weeks, and I've really, really noticed a difference in my gut health. I'm just so much less bloated. I feel fantastic. People are telling me that my skin is glowing.
It is right now, just so you know.
Thank you, John. It could be the thousands of dollars that I spend on the cream, but I like to think it has something to do with the bone broth as well. And then...
So can I just stop you?
Yeah.
So what time of the day do you normally have it? Once or twice?
First thing in the morning.
So first thing in the morning.
I drink it first thing in the morning. I used to drink green tea first thing every morning, and I still drink green tea. I have like 6 cups of green tea a day, but I drink that bone broth first thing in the morning.
And is it something you buy locally? Like you actually buy it from someone as opposed to... Okay.
Yeah,
Who do you buy it from?
There's this lovely young lady named Rebecca. Her business is called Beck's Broth.
Okay.
And she's at the farmer's market, and she's at some health food stores.
And do you mean the St. Jacobs or Kitchener Farmers?
Both. I think she's at both.
Perfect.
And you can also order it online. She's on Instagram. If you look up Beck's Broth, you can ask her questions. She's happy to answer any questions. And I buy it by the case, and then I freeze it. And then I drink a mug every single morning. And it's lovely to support our local entrepreneurs as well.
I agree. Okay, I interrupted you, though.
No, it's okay. And then I also, I love going on Instagram and looking at my reels daily. I mean, it's mostly BTS, and the other half is food. And so this recipe for a pineapple rind tea came up, and it has amazing health benefits. It's full of vitamin C and manganese and, all of these things that are great for you. But it's also great for digestion. And so I've been drinking that pineapple tea for the last month. And so I drink that every night before I go to bed. And sometimes if I go for a walk, I'll drink it during the day too. But it's so fantastic for my digestion. And drinking those two things, I just feel with the workouts that I'm doing and the bone broth and the pineapple rind tea together, and I'm eating healthier, I just feel great all around. It's just a wonderful combination.
And that's usually what it is too. It's so for me, for example, I told you last time that I have this really energizing feeling. But the only time I get that is if I do a whole bunch of things. One, I have to be eating right.
Yeah.
Ideally, I'm at the right weight, and I have to be doing my core exercises. Yeah. And I think, I've never focused on that kind of tea for digestion. Although I like herbal tea, and I often read, for example, about the benefits of something like a ginger tea.
Well, when I make, the recipe calls for pineapple rinds and ginger, and I add fresh lemon juice to it, and some turmeric powder. And so those are all things, if you read about these things, they all have wonderful nutritional benefits. But it tastes amazing. My boys are both drinking it too. They don't care about the health benefits that it has, but it's a juice in the fridge that tastes amazing.
Oh, so they drink it cold?
They drink it. We drink it cold. Yeah.
Oh, you drink it cold too?
Yeah. There's lots of different variations, but that pineapple rind with the lemon juice with the ginger together, I mean, it tastes amazing and you can't go wrong. But it's when you think about, pineapple has a lot of vitamin C, but a lot of people don't realize that when you're looking at fruit, the rinds actually are where all the nutrients are. And it still tastes amazing, right? And so, have a look. There are lots of different variations on the internet, but use that as your main ingredient, and I think you'll see a difference too.
Well, I definitely I've come across articles that talk about the benefits of these different components, all the ones that you mentioned.
Put them all together.
And so it's great to hear that, at least for you, when you took them all, it works and makes you feel amazing. So thanks for sharing that with us.
Yep, no, happy to. Thanks, John.
Here's a thought. Popped up while running.
I was about 18 kilometers into a 21-kilometer training run, and I was tired. I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I training again? Like, why don't I just keep my distances shorter? I was on the Iron Horse Trail in Kitchener, which is a really nice path for walking, biking, running, and all kinds of stuff. And probably thinking of slowing down. And in any event, I was running along wishing I had better technique and could lift my feet higher and a whole bunch of stuff. So all of a sudden, 4 kids come out of a local area, like a little neighborhood. They hit the path. They're all laughing and smiling. Somebody's out front and the rest are chasing them. And their technique was unbelievable. Like, if you know anything about running and you've seen good runners, like, these are just kids. They're not professionals, but just kids just know what to do, or their bodies just do it. They had these high foot kicks, almost kicking their own butts and flying and laughing and just enjoying the moment. And what a great thing to have turned around my run. I just lived in the moment for a little bit, and those last 3 kilometers went pretty well. I was so glad I saw those guys in such a good mood. It's me.
Yeah. Just let me say, flip side of the coin.
Why is it, Sheila, that there's so many times where, maybe not us so much, hopefully, but I think we're all guilty of this to some degree. So, yeah. Why do we dislike people who have it together? Why do we not like people who have more money than us, or people who get lucky, or people who have stuff that we don't have? Like, what is it that makes us kind of irritated by that?
Yeah, it's a drag, because you really want to all be playing on the same team and all be happy for everyone's achievements. But somehow you think that, when someone else gets something, achieves something, it somehow puts you on a different playing field. And so you lost something because they gained something.
As if it's a zero-sum game.
Yeah. And I know that I've definitely had those feelings before. I hope I've never expressed them. Like, I'm usually quite nice and happy for everyone, and honestly believe that it doesn't affect me personally, or, it may help me try to achieve things, but it is a hard thing to handle.
Part of the problem is there's frustrations in life. We're not getting something that we want to get. And isn't it nice in those situations to have a scapegoat?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Right? Like,
yeah, you can think that.
So let's say I'm trying to get something done, or, let's take money or whatever. Let's say I'm struggling financially right now, or maybe I'm trying to save for retirement when I hadn't saved enough, whatever it happens to be. And I'm not making much progress. And then somebody I know wins the lottery or wins whatever it is. And so it's easy for me at that point to just forget about trying to achieve what I'm trying to achieve and just like scream at the moon, wow, scream at the world, why this happen? This is not fair. Like, this should happen to me. Why did it happen to someone else? And, it doesn't help you.
No.
It doesn't help them.
No.
I actually have this little trick that I use if that ever happens. Like, so for example, recently somebody in our world won a big lottery, and which is amazing, right? But at first I did give myself 10 seconds to go, oh, I wish that was me, and I'm jealous.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm like consciously saying that. I'm jealous. I wish why can't that happen to me? But then I'm like, great, that's out of my system. And now I can be like, wow, I'm so happy for those people. It's so amazing. And I'm so thrilled, and they deserve it.
Yeah, it is really cool, actually, when you know someone who wins something like that, because, there's lotteries every day and all the time, and it's so far-fetched. Can't even imagine winning. So when you have someone close to you who wins something like that, it's like, it almost brings it back to, oh my God, this could happen to you. This could happen to me.
Yeah, and we can share in the joy of it.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. But that brings me to a thought where, when people are like, whoa, why is this not happening to me? Why can't I do this? Or why can't I get this? And from Eat, Pray, Love, she's reading this little quote. It's like talking to God going, why not me? Why can't I win the lottery? And God says, so-and-so, you have to buy a ticket.
Right.
You know what I mean? So in order to achieve in life, you need to participate. You need to actually buy a ticket.
To me, thinking about this, it's really something that people take advantage of. So right now, it's just so frustrating to watch the media and politicians, especially south of the border right now, where they feed off different anxieties that people have. And you can see them feeding off this one, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people are struggling in different issues. There's a whole bunch of issues. So what do? You point the finger at somebody else.
Yeah.
Why do these spoiled people and, these people get everything they want and they're keeping it from you? And it's unfortunate because really, like for me, if I just put it in my own personal context, if I'm not getting something, if I'm not achieving something, the answer isn't these other people, what's happening in their lives.
Right.
I have to make something happen in my life.
Right. And it's not just financial or tangible. It can be emotional too. If I'm not happy, if I'm not content, you have to look within. You can't expect someone else to give that to you. You have to find it yourself.
I see people in my world all the time, people who work extremely hard. Mm-hmm. They worked extremely hard at school. They work extremely hard in their professions and they're successful. Mm-hmm. Well,
good for them. They worked for it.
Why should you be angry about that? So I just keep coming back to the fact that now that I recognize that, and it does happen to me sometimes where I'm like, oh,
yeah,
that I always sit back and say, hey, John, what's really going on here?
Right.
What is it that you're not getting?
Right.
What is it that you're frustrated with?
Right.
That's making you take it out on these people?
Yes.
Please remember that we're not providing advice. We hope to inspire you to work towards balance, and we urge you to consult with qualified people if you need advice. The people on the show are speaking in their personal capacities. Their views expressed are their own, and don't represent the views or opinions of their outside contacts, their employers, or anyone else. We try to get things right, but we can't guarantee everything we say is correct, or that the things we talk about will work for you. Let's be well together, and let's be sure to do that in a safe way. It's sign-off time, and we have a special guest with us tonight. It's not just Sheila and Sammy, but Sammy's David is here as well, if I can call you that, David.
Hi, David.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, David.
We caught them at the end of the day when they're painting their new house, and it's getting so exciting because it's getting closer and closer. So, okay, for me on sign-off, I am still on cloud nine from doing the London Marathon, and that was over a week ago. And it was just, and I'll say more about it in different segments of the show, but I just can't get over how I wasn't expecting it to be kind of a big deal because I'd already done multiple marathons, but I'm just literally walking around on cloud nine, so that's fantastic. And then also, I'm really relaxed and I'm feeling really good because we had an actual holiday, our first one since really COVID began, and then followed up by a long weekend right after. I'm really more relaxed right now than I have been in quite a long time, so I'm going to try and enjoy that. A quick note about Hillary. So we heard Hillary today on the interview, and I just wanted to let people know that you can find out more about Hillary at hillyfitz.com. That's HILLYFITZ.com. And she's in Kitchener, and she does a lot of stuff with personal training, group training, in the zone, which is follow along videos and customized home programs and Zoom training. And the other thing that's really exciting, just before I turn it over, is we got we don't have very much input from people, and we've been asking people to rate us on places like Spotify and Apple. We got another new rating recently in kind of mid-September by Marie, who loves the show, the interviews, and looks forward to each episode. And way back in February, we had another one from J Meme, and we really appreciate that, guys. So Marie and J Meme, if you guys are listening, thanks a lot for piping in. And so I will now turn it over. So Sammy and David, how are things going in the new house? How are things going generally?
Pretty good. Yeah, we were, again, still at that final push through of everything, but we're getting really close. All our baseboards are in.
Oh, yay.
A little stressed lately, just finishing up everything, but
it's painful, when you're just waiting for those last few things and they seem to take forever.
Yeah, definitely. this weekend we had our pumpkin and pies annual giveaway that I got to plan and everything. And it went really well. We had like over 100 people show up, which was amazing. And it was all local stuff. So Hurley's farm provided all the pumpkins and pies. And then we had the pierogi food truck that goes around KW. And we also had some local music and face painters. So it was a really fun community event.
Yeah, good job, Sammy. It was really great.
And that was for Damaren Sells Homes, right? What's the actual name?
Damaren Sells Homes and Flux Realty.
Amazing.
Yeah. Anything to add?
I have a big event at work this week, actually. Our company, Communitech, is hosting our Techtoberfest this week. So I have a very, very busy week going on. And one of the sayings we actually have at our work is we're all juggling balls, right? We're juggling our work balls and our personal life and all that kind of stuff. So when you start juggling too many balls, you have to set the rubber ones down and keep juggling the glass ones. So I feel like that's what we have going on this week between work and the house. I got to kind of keep juggling the really important glass balls and let some of the less important rubber ones fall to the side this week. So
I love that. Yeah. I love that. And I also, from my office, I can see your building over at the tannery. So I'll keep an eye out for that. But I'm interrupting. So how about over to you, Sheila?
Okay. Well, I won't say too much except that the marathon at London was wonderful. We had a great time. And I was really impressed with the fact that we were there for over a week, and John really didn't worry too much about the marathon until it actually happened. So that was really awesome. We got to enjoy and just be tourists.
I think that's why I'm loving it, because I really didn't have much expectations. I shouldn't have done this. And like I said, I'll say more about it on one of my pop-ups, but I was treating it like a duty, that it's something I had to do. So I'm like, whatever, I'll just deal with it. And then, it just shows that you have to have an open heart and open mind, and amazing things can happen when you don't expect them.
Yeah. So anyways, we got home and then I had to work right away. Like I barely got any sleep. And then we had a busy weekend. We had a party on Friday that we were hosting. And then we went to your pumpkin and pies, and we went to an Oktoberfest and saw the kids. But it was really nice to have a few days off for Thanksgiving, and we're going back at it. So.
And I remember too, the first day back at work, like everything went wrong. Like you had a grueling day at work with jet lag and everything.
Yeah, my first day was okay. It was my third day.
Oh, your third day.
My third day, because I feel like all 3 days just kind of rolled into one, right? So, anyways, it all. Some days are good, some days aren't. That's okay.
Well, anyway, Sammy and David, thanks for taking some time. I know you guys have been working all day and doing work in your house, and I appreciate you taking time to do the sign off with us. And
yeah.
I guess that's it for me. Anyone else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, well, everyone have a great week, and hopefully you enjoyed the episode, and we'll see you again next week.
Bye.
Bye. That is it for today's show. Please try and make wellness a priority.
You deserve it.
If you feel the need to talk to someone or ask for help, please do that.
Accept yourself for the person you are.
So long.
Adieu.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Goodbye.